Hey guys, it's Gediki2122. Before we get started with today's video, I would like to bring attention to another comment made to suggest a nickname for one of my Pokemon. Today we have received a comment from Uber Dan, who has suggested a nickname for Delibird. I was actually surprised to see that we actually got a legitimate name for a Delibird of all things. But he initially suggested Aru, but since Delibird is a male in this case, he decided to compromise and go with Arthur. So we are going to be nicknamed this Delibird Arthur. So there you go, Uber Dan. Arthur the Delibird is now officially nicknamed thanks to you. As always, guys, if you do want to leave a suggestion for a nickname in the comments for any of the other Pokemon that I've caught, feel free to do so. We still have a handful of episodes left to go in this series, and I'm happy to give you credit for nicknames if you suggest them. Feel free to go through my playlist and watch other episodes to see if there are any Pokemon that I've caught that you want to give a nickname to. I will accept any suggestions, within reason, of course. Anyway, back to the video. Hello everybody, my name is Gediki2122 and welcome back to Pokemon Fire Red. Last time, we traveled here to Sevii Island, exploring the little town that could, and then headed off to the Rocket Warehouse with our 2 passwords in hand to reobtain the Sapphire. Now, we could go back to Celio and complete our business at the Sevii Islands, but there's still a lot more that we can do, both in the Sevii Island area and in general. So, we have a bit of a long episode today, or at least I anticipate that it will be a long episode. So, hang on to your pants, because we are going to be here for a while. So the first thing I would like to do is I would actually like to go back to 2 Island briefly, because there's a specific product that I want to get for myself. If you recall back on 2 Island, there was this particular salesman who was selling various items. And I believe now that we have made more progress in the Sevii Islands, he has even more items for us. Hi, I'm giving it my best here. Hope you do too, Griffin. That's very nice of him to actually call me by name. Okay, so he has some new stuff here. So at the moment he has an Ultra Ball, Great Balls, Lemonade, Soda Pops, Fresh Waters, and Moo Moo Milk. This is actually a relatively rare item to get in this game, or at least from any other source. So this will restore the HP of one Pokemon by 100 points, is meant to be Miltake's Milk, and while that is relatively enticing, the item that I actually want to get here is a Lemonade. It will make sense in a little bit, but before we get to this task, you want to be sure you have a Lemonade on hand, because it's very, very important. Alright, so now we find ourselves here on Sevii Island Meadow. This is where we were last time, where the Team Rocket Warehouse was. And while there may not seem to be many options for what we can do here, if we were to head east from this point, there's actually more areas for us to explore, including the Memorial Pillar area, which I will show off as we progress through the area and fight some trainers in the process. I'm the eldest of the Bird Brothers. The best thing about birds, it has to be the beak. Sure, well, I'm afraid you're not going to convince me that birds are particularly great. I actively went out of my way to not have a bird for a party member on my team. Okay, that was a particularly interesting fight. Oh, so sharp. Just a Pidgey and a Pidgeotto, but I'm curious to see how many other bird brothers there are. I imagine there are 2. Found a raspberry here on the ground. Very nice. As you saw, there was a little kind of mark in the ground that kind of led me to believe there was an item there. God bless you, Hoppip. Are you perchance the second of the Bird Brothers? I'm the middle kid of the Bird Brothers. The best thing about birds has to be the wings. I can get behind the wings. Ironically, well, I guess this guy kind of has a bird with bigger feathers than Pidgeotto. But he also has a bird with a bigger beak, so I don't know where these guys stand with each other. Flop, flop! Well, I guess that answers that question. Anything else you want to add? There was a really somber guy over that way. Oh! Well, thanks for the intel, guy. Seems to have another item here. Found a citrus berry. That's a very nice berry. We've seen that a handful of times. Seems to be one more hidden item here. Found a Bluckberry. What does the Bluckberry do again? Can we grind it into a powder or as an ingredient for medicine? Okay, so not really anything by itself. That's fine. I believe you're the eldest of the Bird Brothers? Excuse me? I'm the youngest of the Bird Brothers. Oh, I appear to have misread the notes. The best thing about birds has to be the down. The down? Oh, this guy actually has some unique Pokemon, or at least relatively rare Pokemon. So this is Hoot Hoot. This is essentially the Pidgey of Gen 2, but it does kind of function relatively different. Unfortunately, I do not believe that we're going to be able to actually catch Hoot Hoot in this game, so it's here. And then Noctowl is Hoot Hoot's evolved form. The neat thing about Noctowl is that it's actually able to learn some Psychic-type moves, even though it unfortunately is not in any way a Psychic-type Pokemon. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Although the coloration on Hoot Hoot was a little weird. But this is kind of a point in the series where they weren't completely finalized on everyone's coloration design, so it's fine. Down is so comfy. It makes me drowsy. Okay. Still not completely clear what down is, but maybe you can let me know what down is down in the comments. Going to go ahead and surf here. And now we find ourselves on another island. And is there any hidden items here before we interact with anything? Well, there's this, obviously. Tame the metal coat. Oh, wait, what? Oh, right. I guess we need to address this. So the bag is not unlimited in terms of its size. There is a finite amount of individual items that you are allowed to hold in your bag. You can, of course, store however many items you want in the PC. But, yeah, we have finally run into the inevitability of not being able to carry a certain item. So I'm going to need to make some choices here. I think we'll take this moment to use my PP-ups to boost certain Pokemon's power points, because we pretty much have our team's final moveset already finalized. So I think I'll give Gullywash a little boost to his Surf power points. So now he'll be able to use that more often. And I'll give my man Kaiser a boost to his Earthquake, so he can use that more often as well. Alright, now we should be able to obtain the Metal Coat. One Metal Coat. That is an item that you can use to evolve certain Pokemon through trading. I'll be going over this at a later point, but yeah, we might be able to use this depending on how things go. Anyway, how's it going, guy? Scrub, scrub. Hello, your Pokemon look healthy. This is where I buried my Onix. It was named Tectonics. Here lies Tectonics, is engraved on a boulder. There is a lemonade placed as an offering in front of the grave. Would you like to leave another lemonade as an offering? This is why I recommended that you purchase a lemonade, because you have this opportunity to interact with the memorial in this way. So let's leave a lemonade behind. Griffin placed a can of lemonade in the front of the grave. Thank you. That was my Tectonics' favorite drink. I don't even know you, but your act of kindness, it's uplifted me a little. Can you please take this as my thanks? Obtain TM42. Please forget to your Pokemon too. Very nice. This is very nice. Now let's talk about what we actually got here. So TM42 is Facade. This is a move that doubles its power whenever the user is afflicted with a status condition, be it burn, poison, paralysis, anything like that. It will double the power of Facade. This is really good if you're using it with the right Pokemon, as certain Pokemon also have the ability Guts, which further boosts its attack whenever it's inflicted with a status condition. So if you combine this with a Pokemon that have Guts, it could deal massive damage. So keep this in mind if you have a Pokemon that meets those kinds of conditions, because with the right setup, it can be a devastating move. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, we performed that simple act of kindness, we are going to move back to the 5-island main area, because we still have more that we need to do today, and there's a little bit of preparation that we need to do to get to the next step. So back here in the Pokemon Center, I don't believe we've actually talked to the people inside, so let's talk to them first. I'm on my way to prepare a meal for a certain high society person. Ooh, interesting. A little bit of a hint for later. You're on a quest to catch every single kind of Pokemon? How incredible. Please tell me if you catch a strong one. Well, you, lady. I have lots of strong ones in my party. Excuse me. Anyway, one thing that I'm going to recommend that you do is that you need to have one empty slot in your party before we move on to the next area. Now, to move on to the next area, we actually want to go north of Sevii Island toward this way. It actually brings us to a little water labyrinth. And I'm not sure if there are a bunch of trainers here. Nope, don't want to go this way yet. Want to go left here. I'm going to make our way through the labyrinth. See, there you go. Hoppip can be found while surfing. That is your little demonstration for the day. And like I said, it is a water labyrinth, so there's going to be a little bit of trial and error. Okay, there we go. Now here on this island, there are two people, and I believe I want to talk to you first. This is an excellent environment for raising Pokemon. If you say so. Ah yes, Pokemon breeder Elise. She's gonna send a Pikachu. I don't understand what is it with Pokemon breeders' proclivity to always have a Pikachu, but 8 times out of 10, it's a Pikachu for some reason. Alright, there we go. Your Pokemon are growing up admirably well. Well, someone acknowledges my hard work, thank you. Now that was all well and good, but the person I really want to talk to is this old man here. You travel all over the place, don't you? You're not driving your Pokemon too harshly, are you? Let me take a look. Oh, impressive. You treat your Pokemon right. I think you can be entrusted with this. Please, I'd like you to have this. Received an egg from the man. I received the egg while I was traveling. I'm glad I met someone like you. Okay, so he doesn't have anything else to add. So we have another egg in the party. I'm not going to go over what this egg hatches into until it does in fact hatch. But it does seem to be moving occasionally. Kind of indicative that the egg has been with the old man for a little bit. So we're going to keep it in the party for now until it hatches. So that particular egg is not the only thing that we can do here. Oh no. Now we find ourselves going further north and running into a lady. The angle is not quite there. God bless. Ooh, a new trainer class, Painters. I forgot that they have this here. Smeargle. This is one of the Pokemon that I had gone over with you all in the Cave of Misfit Pokemon. Now then, Smeargle is kind of weird because the only move that it kind of learns leveling up is Sketch, which is a move that allows it to copy the moves of whatever move it just got hit with. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see that because I destroyed it, and Kaiser grew to level 58 in the process. But hey, no reason to complain about that. Oh, my feelings, they are blue. Well, based on your Smeargle, it seems like your feelings are green, but whatever. Looks like we have multiple artistes that we're going to be dealing with at a later point, but hey, that's fine. So, welcome to Resort Gorgeous. There are multiple trainers here that we need to fight, just to, well, so we can take their money, basically. And this particular lady, oh boy, we need to talk about him. Lady Jackie is a very worthwhile trainer to fight. In fact, I'm going to switch to Raitoshi to demonstrate something here. God bless. So one thing I would like to try with Raitoshi, because Raitoshi knows Thief, so I'm going to use Thief on this Hoppip. And we got a Stardust. That's the thing about Lady Jackie's Pokemon, is that they have items that you can steal from them. And it is very much worth your time to do this. And that takes care of Lady Jackie. Oh my, so strong. The other reason you want to fight Lady Jackie is she gives you $10,000 for beating her! Because she's rich! So that kind of brings me to one of my points here. Reason why you would want to keep coming to Resort Gorgeous is that there are certain trainers here that give you lots and lots of money for defeating them. So if you ever need to grind money, fight Lady Jackie here, because she is 100% worth your time to battle. We have two trainers that are facing each other. What's gonna happen? I don't think the double battle mechanic that they introduced in Emerald applies here, does it? Well, let's see what happens. Excuse me, I'm trying to paint. Please keep it out of my sight. Oh, okay. That lady was her muse. I got in the way. Okay. That was very easy. This loss, I feel like I'm whiting out. Oh, do you? You feel like you're whiting out? Like how everyone else whites out? Oh, wait, you're not. Oh, God bless. They caught me off guard, guys. Think about having a pool made specially for Pokemon. There's a ocean in front of you. Lady Gillian, she is another lady that has many, many high amounts of money. So, take things from her Pokemon, steal from the rich, beat them up, and take all of her cash. Also use Thief. I guess one other noteworthy thing about her team is that she has Mareep and its evolution Fluffy, which again are some of the Pokemon that we would have been able to obtain in the Lost Cave if they had not. It's so frustrating. Anyway, we would have been able to obtain these Pokemon had we gotten access to the event, but here there's just another case of really good Pokemon that we are not going to be able to obtain for ourselves. Mareep would have been an excellent electric type to use, especially if we were able to use it in the early game, but no, we don't get it. And there's Fluffy. So adorable. I have to destroy you, though. Oh my goodness gracious. And like Jackie, Lady Gillian also gives you lots and lots of money for beating her. So definitely worth your time to fight these two. If you have an amulet coin available to you, then you can also use that to double your money. Now, I believe there are a few more trainers that we need to fight here. Hello. With these hands, I will create my victory. Oh, you another artist? Yep, you sure are. Painter Daisy. And Rock Lee grew to level 59. Excellent. May want to take the EXP share off of him. Hello. I'm a good runner. I'm really fast. Are you, though? You just seem like a tiny child that wandered onto this island randomly. Oops, I rushed things. Hey, believe me, you're not the only one who did. He didn't have anything particularly noteworthy unlike the other few, because he just had a Pidgeotto and Eradicate. Now, I believe there is one more... maybe it's further out in another direction. Anyway, let's take a look at this house. Selphy's house. Oh boy. Hello, there doesn't appear to be anyone here at the moment. Pokemon Journal. Special feature, Cinnabar Gym Leader Blaine. Blaine is said to remove his dark shades only when he is thinking up new quiz questions. Interesting. A little bit of extra lore for Blaine. So Selphy does not appear to be here at the moment, but that doesn't mean that there isn't anything we can do. I believe what we need to do is we need to go this way. Yes, here we are, and here's the other Pokemon trainer I was thinking of. I say, this marine life here at this resort agrees with me. Well, I hope so, buddy. I really do hope so. What? That's a shocker. You must be joking. Well, that fits for what I was just doing here. Okay, so now let's hop onto this island here. We see ourselves a little cave. Welcome to the Lost Cave. Now then, we need to go through this hole, and as you can see, there are, well, one, there's a trainer here. Aye! I thought this was an ancient ruin, but it's teeming with ghosts. Aye! Mercy! Okay, I will provide mercy today. Okay, now, as I said, we're in the Lost Cave. Now, the way that the Lost Cave works is that you have to proceed through one of 4 tunnels that are in front of you. And depending on the arrangement of the rocks, that tells you which way you need to be going. The rocks essentially act as a bit of a clock to indicate what specific time to indicate the direction. It's a little confusing. I will be sure to kind of go over everything that you can do in the Lost Cave, but basically, depending on the exact directions that you proceed as you go through these tunnels, you will either end up finding Selphy at the very end of the road, or if you go through a different arrangement, you will end up in one of what's considered an item room, and you will find certain items. They're all worth your time to find, and you have to go in a very specific order in order to find them. And I'll be sure to cover all the bases as we go through this. But before I do, there are 2 new Pokemon that we can find in this cave, and I would like to talk about them. Or rather, as I've said a few times, one of 2 new Pokemon that we can find depending on what specific version that we are playing. So, to start off, we have Murkrow, exclusive to Fire Red. Now, Murkrow is a kind of a strange Pokemon, because this is another case of us finding a Dark type in the wild. But this is also our first instance of us finding a Dark Flying type, making it a relatively unique Pokemon amongst its peers. Murkrow's stats are kind of focused on being a mixed attacker and sweeping. It has pretty decent offenses and having really good speed, but kind of lacking in HP and defenses. So this is a Pokemon that is meant to hit kind of hard and fast, but is not really able to take hits very well. As a Dark type, it works relatively well. It does get some pretty good Dark type moves, including Pursuit and Feint Attack, giving it kind of the generic Dark moveset that you would want. However, if you want it to work as a Flying type, I would actually highly recommend breeding Murkrow, because if you breed Murkrow, you get pretty much like all the good Flying type moves on Murkrow. You can teach it Drill Peck, Feather Dance, Mirror Move, Sky Attack, and Wing Attack. So it gives you a lot more versatility as a Dark Flying type if you're willing to commit actual breeding to Murkrow to teach it its better Flying type moves. Now that said, Murkrow does not evolve into Honchkrow in this specific game. This is another case of Pokemon that does get better when it gets to Gen 4, but unlike Yanma, Murkrow actually does hold its own relatively well in this game. It's nothing spectacular, but for what it is, it's still pretty good. As for Leaf Green players, you can find in this Lost Cave, Mischievous. Now, Mischievous is a very interesting Pokemon, especially because of what it meant when it was introduced. This was, in essence, the second Ghost Pokemon, because all the Ghost Pokemon that we had in the original Gen 1 and among the original 151 was Ghastly and its evolutions. But here, Mischievous is the second Ghost type to actually be introduced entirely separately from that evolution. And unlike Ghastly and its evolutions, this Pokemon is a pure Ghost type, meaning that it is not weak to Psychic types, and it is actually able to do relatively well against them. Additionally, unlike Murkrow, Mischievous has relatively well-balanced stats, with a bigger emphasis on special attack, special defense, and speed, which isn't particularly great in this generation because, unfortunately, despite the fact that all Ghost Pokemon are special attack based in this generation, Mischievous, along with all the Ghost types, can only use Ghost moves that are physical in this game. Why that is, I will never understand, but regardless, Mischievous is here, and it does relatively well because it also has the ability to learn Psychic type moves, such as Psy-Wave and Psy-Beam. Additionally, it also gets some really interesting utility moves, such as Confuse Ray, Spite, Pain Split, and Perish Song, which can all have their uses depending on what you're trying to do. Now, frankly, unlike Murkrow, where it can learn really good moves on its own merit or through breeding, Mischievous is another case of Pokemon where if you want to learn its best moves, you're going to have to invest some TMs. I recommend Psychic and Shadow Ball. Even though Mischievous doesn't have the best physical attack in the world, having a good move with the same type as Mischievous is still beneficial to it due to having the same type attack bonus. But like Murkrow, what you see here is what you get with Mischievous, as its evolved form, Mismagius, is not available in this particular game. And like Murkrow, Mischievous gets even better in Gen 4, but it's not useless in this generation either. So now that we've covered that, I would like to say before we start going around and trying to pick up all the items, if you want to try to catch Murkrow and Mischievous, I actually recommend that you try to walk around rooms that you find an item in when you're exploring the Lost Cave. Because if you're just trying to walk around in the normal areas where you're just kind of wandering through places, you can find Murkrow or Mischievous 5% of the time. But if you walk in an item room, then you'll be able to find Murkrow and Mischievous a lot easier 20% of the time. But you do you, it's your choice. So I think to cover our bases, we're going to focus on getting the rare items first before we try to find Lady Selphy, as Selphy is the most difficult combination. So to start off, the first item we're going to go for is the Lax Incense. And so to find the Lax Incense, we're going to go right, and then we're going to go down. And that brings us here. We found a Lax Incense. And now that we are in an item room, I'm going to wander around until we find ourselves a Murkrow. Ah, there we go. There's our little buddy Murkrow. Alright, we got ourselves a Murkrow. Murkrow, the darkness Pokemon. It is said that when chased, it lures its attacker onto dark mountain trails where the foe will get lost. That is horribly dark, but it's a dark Pokemon, so what should I expect? As always, if you'd like to give a nickname to Murkrow, feel free to recommend one in the comments. Now that we've gotten that taken care of, I need to go back. And as you can see, we have now returned to the central hub where we started. So now we're going to continue on from here. So the next item that we want to go for is a Max Revive. So to do the Max Revive, you want to go left, up, then go down, and we found ourselves a trainer here. I think there's a mysterious power at work in this cave. Do you think so? I mean, I was able to find you with a mysterious power, so can't be all that bad. So her last Pokemon that she has is a Xatu, which is the evolved form of Natu. We've already gone over this Pokemon in great detail, but I think it's at least fair to show it off in its 15 seconds of glory. So, there you go. If you don't go into the right tunnel, you won't get ahead. Alright, well, I'll take your advice. And I will go down the down tunnel one more time. And then we're going to go right. And then we go right one more time. And that brings us to a Max Revive. Very nice. Next up, we're going to try to pursue a rare candy which can be found in this cave. So we want to go right, up, then down again. Then we're going to go right. Then we're going to go left. Then we'll go down. And then we go left. And that gets us the rare candy, or at least it would if my back wasn't full. Okay, I've tossed an item. Here we go. Rare candy. So there's one more item that we need to get before we try to pursue Selphy properly. And this one's a lot simpler. Just go right. And go up. Or not. As I was saying, go up. Then down. Then up again. And that gets us the Sea Incense if my bag wasn't full. Found a Sea Incense. There we go. Now we're going to go after Selphy properly, and hers is the most difficult orientation, so listen up. So we're going to go right, up, then down again, then right, then left, then get interrupted by a wild Pokemon. Now we're going to go down. Come on. Then we're going to go right. And then we go up. Oh, what do you intend to do with me? Oh boy. Lady Selphy would like to battle. Understandably, she is terrified. She has a Persian. I would recommend, once again, having a Pokemon with Thief because her Persians also carry very expensive items. Got the Persian's Nugget. Another 5,000 for us. Excellent. Ratusha grew to level 58. And that takes care of Lady Selphy. Quick and easy battle. Oh, I was afraid that you meant to harm me. And like the other fancy lady, she gives you $9,800 for defeating her. Though unlike the other two, she is not able to be rematched, so... That's not that big of a deal, though. I'm so glad that you happened here. I grew rather bored of walking, and I'm feeling fatigued. May I ask you to take me home from here? Fortunately, she takes us right back to Resort Gorgeous. Thank you. You may go now. What? Excuse me! Bill Smidge cheated here. Oh, do I know you from somewhere? Oh, but that doesn't matter. I'm exquisitely bored. Please hear my wish. I wish to see a Pokemon, a darling Venusaur. I'll just see one right away. Please make my wish come true. Yes, so once a day you can come here and she will ask for you to show her a specific Pokemon. If you are able to show her that specific Pokemon, then you will get a certain item from Selphie's butler, who I guess will come in and provide the item to you. Among the items that you can receive from the butler, you can get a pearl, a big pearl, a stardust, a star piece, a rare candy, a nugget, or, rarely, you can get a luxury ball, which is a really nice Pokeball that doesn't increase the odds of being able to catch a certain Pokemon, but it does help with increasing the Pokemon's friendship, which isn't overly useful in this specific game, but for certain Pokemon, it can be helpful. It is very helpful if you do want to teach that Pokemon that you're catching return. But unfortunately, there's no way for me to reasonably show her Venusaur. So we're gonna have to skip out on this. Unreal. Also, you do have to show her within 250 steps, so if you are not able to show her easily, then you're not gonna be able to pull this off. Hey. However, we are not done with the Lost Cave just yet. There is one more thing that we need to do while we are here. If we go back into the Lost Cave and follow the exact same orientation that we went through to find Selphie in the first place, we are now able to proceed further into the room where we found Selphie and find ourselves a silk scarf, which I don't have space for. Okay, here we go. Silk scarf. Now, let's go over the items that we were able to find that weren't just stuff that we already had. So, Lax Incense, an item to be held by a Pokemon. Its tricky aroma slightly reduces the foe's accuracy. Now, when it comes to the Lax Incense, there is one other purpose that this serves, and I should have included this while I was discussing it before. But if you try to breed Wobbuffet while Wobbuffet is holding the Lax Incense, you will, instead of getting Wobbuffet, get the Pokemon Wynot, which is Wobbuffet's pre-evolved form. I should have included Wynot in the bio, but I didn't, and that is a legitimate oversight on my part. The only way for you to get Wynot through breeding is for you to give Wobbuffet the Lax Incense. If you don't give it the Lax Incense, you'll just get yourself another Wobbuffet. How that works, I'm not sure. But I think it's because Wobbuffet's pre-evolved form Wynot counts as a baby Pokemon, and most baby Pokemon require an incense for it to work. As for the Sea Incense, item to be held by Pokemon, slightly boosts the power of water-type moves. Essentially, just a mystic water form of an incense. But if you were to give this Pokemon to Marill while breeding it, you will get its pre-evolved form Azurill, which is another baby Pokemon. If you try to breed Marill without the Sea Incense, you'll just get another Marill. So you do need these things to get specific Pokemon bred. As for the Silk Scarf, this is an item that boosts the power of normal type moves. Would have been useful on that Persian that she was having earlier. But if you're raising a normal Pokemon or a Pokemon that regularly uses normal type moves, this might be a good item to give that Pokemon. Now fortunately, getting out of the Lost Cave is a lot easier than getting in. Okay, so I think that's going to do it for this particular episode of Pokemon Fire Red. We traveled on the general areas around Five Island, helping out with a memorial, getting ourselves a new Pokemon egg, and saving a hapless maiden who was in no way grateful for our efforts to save her. So next time on Pokemon Fire Red, we're going to be traveling to another new island among the Sevii Islands. See you guys then.